On the Mic podcast rolls on, and we are just a few days out, just under 2 weeks away from a storm coming home. It is a home storm coming. Logan Storley, I really thought I had that figured out better than I did, so I got Bellator 298, one half of the main event. Logan Storley is here joining me on the Mic podcast. Logan, thank you so much for the time. How are you?
Doing well. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Now, I know this is a fight. You're taking on Brennan Ward at Bellator 298 in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. First and foremost, I know that your last fight obviously did not go the way you obviously would want it to go. Where are you at in terms of mentally coming into this fight?
Yeah, doing well. Obviously, it's a tough fight. He's one of the best pound for pound guys in any promotion in the world. So, you take what you can from it, you learn from it, and you got to get back in the gym and get back on the horse and time to go compete again. Really, you can't sit for too long and be upset about it, because that doesn't do anything. So we got back in the gym, started working, and got ready to fight again. Obviously,
there's been nothing but success for you outside of facing Almaslav in your career. What excites you about this matchup against Brennan Ward? I'm a guy, obviously I'm a little different. I don't talk about the technical standpoints of every fight, but when you look at a guy like Brennan, who's coming in after such a long break from the sport and came back in such a big way in a massive fight against Sabah Hamasi, you're at the top, you're right there. And I know with another great win, you probably want to get yourself right back into the title picture. But what do you make of Brennan Ward coming into this fight?
Yeah, he put together 3 good fights. Had a wild fight with Masi. So for me, it's obviously improved. He had to get his life together. Glad he's doing that. So he's back to being a fighter, and so for me, it's you kind of take what you can from those fights and look at some of those before. I know he's explosive. I know he hits hard, but I also know what I bring to the table and the kind of pace and wrestling and putting everything together. It's hard for a lot of guys to match, so I'm excited. It's going to be a fun fight. I think it's going to be an explosive fight, and it's getting close. So
I could tell. I can just tell in your face you're excited, because I think I don't have to tell you, because anytime you fight, it's pure chaos, and Brennan Ward comes with that same mentality. So I'm very excited for this fight. What's your excitement level to be back home in South Dakota?
Yeah, it's always nice to get to go home. I've said this in many interviews. Not many guys get to fight close to home in the highest promotions. Between Bellator, the UFC, one. You don't see it, guys getting to fight in their home state or within an hour or two of their hometown. It's pretty rare. So I've learned to really, relish in it and enjoy it and have fun with it.
Now, I'm planning to be there in attendance for all of the fight week. So I got to ask, is I'm based out of Chicago. I've never been west of Illinois. I'm always going east. I've never gone west. What is there to do in South Dakota?
Yeah, it's people ask that a lot. It's a pretty place. Downtown's, had a ton of development recently. South Dakota's known for it. It's beautiful country. It's open. We got the Black Hills out west. Sioux Falls is in there. So got a lot of good bars, restaurants. You got the what is it called? The Sioux Falls river, the falls landing area, like in there. But really, it's a growing city, because I think kind of what it offers as far as a nice city. It's clean, and that's what I love about going home. Is it's a beautiful place. It's open, a little different than your major cities.
Yeah, it's nice, calming, it's peaceful. So let's bring 2 of the most exciting bloody warriors for a main event into Sioux Falls. I mean, it makes perfect sense. So what's next for you? Obviously, there's a little bit of openness in your division, right? Michael Venom Page recently announced that he's a free agent. I would assume you want to get back into that title fight. And even though this is the first time you and I are talking, and I hope it's not the last, but I would assume you want that victory over the current champion, right? Because it's been the only thing hindering you. So what's kind of where you're looking at, or how are you looking at where you're kind of at, where the division is at as you come into this fight?
Yeah, I've beat all the top guys, and so really, I think for me, it's just you need one or two really dominant victories, and so we got Bellator. They haven't said anything about Amasov. What's next for him? Obviously, they'll fight probably somebody else, and then we'll see. So for me, it's focused on this. Go out there, have a great dominant victory, and see where we're at. We don't really know where everything is right now.
Yeah, I mean, that makes it more exciting for fans of you and for fans that want to see you get back in there, myself included. Is there a little sense of pride and little homecoming defense here? Because obviously, not only are you back home, you're fighting in South Dakota, we just talked about that, but also, Brennan Ward is going to do everything, including throw the kitchen sink, to try and come take, what you've held at the top of the division for so long. So is there a little bit of sense of pride and like stand your ground, defend your territory coming into this fight?
Yeah, I think always, whether you're on the road or you're at home, you want to represent your place and your home, and represent those people that, cheer you on and support you. And so for me, get to do it in front of them this time. And I'm excited to do that. I'm excited to go in there and put on a show and get that W and, put on a dominant performance. That's what my biggest goal is for this fight is to go show that separation and put myself right back in that title shot.
Yeah, I can't wait for it. What is your expected schedule for the rest of this year? Would you like to fight once more after this? You want to see how this fight goes? Or how are you kind of viewing the rest of 2023 and 2024?
Yeah, obviously, you got to take care of this fight August 11th. That's the most important. For me, I'd like to stay a little more active. We had a long break. Amasov was obviously going through it. But I would like to stay a little more active this year and get in there again, maybe one more time before the end of the year. So we'll see. Right now it's August 11th. It's coming up, and got to take care of that first.
Well, they built a fight card around your name, and I'm super excited to see you back in there. And like I said, I know it's the first time talking, but I am an actual huge fan of yours. And I'm not just saying that because you could beat me up and you're on the other side of the screen, but I think you're a world-class fighter. Let's talk about your home though. And that's Bellator MMA. Obviously, we talked about the division. They're coming up. I don't need to tell you, they're coming up on the 300th, numbered event, right? And I know it's been way more, but there's a little something to that Bellator 300. There's talks ongoing about the future, all of that. But with all that being said, Logan Storley, what is your time like with Bellator? What has your time with Bellator been like? And how happy are you to be a part of them?
Yeah, for me, they treated me great. They were great from the start. They've kept me, pretty active whenever I've asked. We've gotten a fight. The main thing is that they let us keep our sponsors. And, that was a big deal with the UFC right away. They've treated us well. You look at the payments, the percentages, the payouts. Bellator was doing much better than treating us much better than the UFC. And so as a fighter, that's what you ask for. You want to fight for gold and you want to fight for money. That's why you fight, right? Okay. Is to fight for gold and fight for money. And so if you're not fighting for gold, which 99% of every roster isn't, at that point, right? You want to fight for money because this is your job. This is how you take care of things. And I think that's sometimes, people forget that when I understand when it comes to, we want to put on exciting fights, but at the end of the day, we also want to win. And so that, it's our life on the line and our job status. So For me, no, Bellator's been great. You know, they've always been treated me well and treated all the fighters that I've seen really well, and let us kind of be our own people and have our own brands, and let us still make make money from our own shorts and not kind of used us in that sense. So I've been really happy with them.
Well, last one here for you, Logan. I really appreciate your time. I promise when I'm there on fight week, I won't annoy you too much, just when media obligations call for it. But I'm very excited to have a chance to finally see you fight in person. It's one of the very first times I'll actually be traveling for fights. So I'm super excited and a little more biased towards every fighter on the card because I, get to be there. I'm a little more invested without a doubt. I know you said you want to go in and showcase a dominance performance and really kind of, restate your claim at the top of the division. Dominance has been a overall, or just kind of a repetitive word here being used. But what should fans expect from you at Bellator 298 in the main event?
I think they should expect a high pace, and I think it's going to be a lot of fireworks. I think it's going to be an exciting fight with a lot of wrestling scrambles and kind of a, I know he's going to come to brawl. I know he's going to come to fight, and so am I. And so I'm excited to showcase all assets of my game of where I can compete and where I can win those positions. And so I think that's kind of what fans should look for, is an exciting, fast-paced fight.
Well, I fumbled in the intro. Hopefully I'm much better on the outro here. It's a storm coming back at Bellator 298, one half of the main event, Logan Storley. Man, I really appreciate the time. Hope to have you on the podcast again in the future. Looking forward to meet you in person on fight week, and all the best. I can't wait for this fight.
Thank you. Appreciate it.